bizarre month and a half or so around these parts, because we're jumping into this fresh double album. It's Just This Way at the Dim Carnival.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dim Carnival. I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And I'm very excited because this week we start talking about a little two-part album that was dropped by Insane Clown Posse on none other than All Hallows Eve, October 31st, 2000. And it's Bizzar, and we're talking about the first of the two discs, which is Bizzar with two A's.
Bizzar.
Bizzar and Bizzar and I'm regular Stormy, and this is the one with the question marks on the cover, not to be confused with the one with the eyeballs on the cover, because ICP is not a double album, it's just a two-part album because I sold these albums separately, and they made it as confusing as possible, but at least they gave them different covers slightly. And I was living in San Francisco when these albums came out, and I went to the Tower Records in Stonestown Galleria, and I bought these albums when I was going to San Francisco State and living by myself for the first time. And I listened to these albums. Actually, I think I had already moved out of my apartment and to my grandma's house in Oakland, but I was going to San Francisco State 6 days a week. And I bought these albums. I listened to them like crazy. And as a result, I probably am more familiar with these two Insane Clown Posse albums than basically any other Insane Clown Posse album, because in my opinion, these two albums have very few songs that aren't worth a listen. And yeah, I'm really excited to talk about these albums, but why don't you guys tell me about your familiarity with these? I think, Ryan, you're probably the least familiar with these albums of the three of us.
You can kiss my ass.
But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I'm pretty familiar with these records. I bought them. I was fully on board with the Insane Clown Posse up until the Six Jokers card dropped. I rode with them to the Six Jokers card, and actually I was not really on the bus anymore at that point. I felt I saw it through out of commitment, I think, as much as anything. But when Bizzar came out, I definitely knew that I was going to buy these records. This was October 31st, 2000, so this was not yet the Gathering of the Juggalos, right? That was in 2001?
Sure.
So this would not be I knew that I would be seeing them again at some point. Like this was the time when in episode 1 or whatever, the Insane Clown Posse sweatshirt.
Yes.
Go to Dim Carnival Instagram and scroll all the way down to the bottom.
That was 2001 when I met you. I met you. I started talking to you because you wore a sweatshirt that said Insane Clown Posse, and it was homemade. It was a bootleg shirt that was not officially licensed merchandise. Right. And I was like, I pointed at you and I said, I'm going to see them, because Steve and I had bought tickets to see them at Maritime Hall in San Francisco. And you were like, I don't really listen to them very much these days. I just wear the shirt.
But I bought these records the day that they came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to them lovingly. I have a fond place in my heart for these records. And I agree, the songs are really good, but my favorite is the secret tracks.
Okay. Well, Steve, we're not talking about that for a couple weeks, right?
So yeah, it's coming.
Steve, this is when you were living with my dad. These came out, I believe.
Yeah.
And you and I were living in different towns. And,
yeah.
But I bought these. I want to know. I don't think I really am very familiar with what happened when these dropped in your neck of the woods.
So I was still trying to be a good Christian when these dropped. I was dating a young lady that lived far away and went to a different college and was going to school to become a lawyer, and she's going to be a big Christian lawyer. And so
wait. Specifically a Christian lawyer?
Yep.
Is that a branch of law?
It seemed to be for her.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well.
And I don't know why you're acting so surprised. You're the one that hooked me up with her.
No. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that she was. I knew she was going to law school, and I knew that she was a devout Christian who tried to make you feel dumb because she thought you didn't know what pious meant. But.
Yep.
But
God bless her. She's a nice lady.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
she's yeah.
But I honestly didn't know that. Like, I guess I knew at some level that like really strident Christians like specifically wanted to practice law in the name of the Lord or whatever. But I didn't know there was like Christian law, like there's tax law or copyright law.
Yeah. Jay Sekulow, who also
is that Shaggy Two Dope's brother?
It should be. No, that's actually very disrespectful to Shag. Sorry about that. No, Jay Sekulow was the lawyer and a big proponent for Focus on the Family, and he was on the 700 Club a bunch, and now he's part of the Trump administration. He's actually he's not on the Trump administration. I take that back. He's Trump's number one lawyer that's defending Trump right now against the allegations that are coming from Mueller.
From his other lawyers?
I believe,
yes. So
I believe his specific role, along with Giuliani, is just PR, like going in and representing the media.
That's really what it is. But the way it's painted is that he would like represent them as a lawyer in court. I don't know that he would actually go to court for Trump if it went to something like that. But that's who Jay Sekulow is. So I've known Jay Sekulow since I was a little kid, because he was on the 700 Club. So it's crazy now to be 43 years old and Jay Sekulow is like the quote unquote lawyer for our crazy president. And I know who he is. So that was like a big influence on her. Anyways, the point being. So yes, Christian lawyers is a big thing.
Fucking everybody, Jay Sekulow.
You should wash your mouth out with soap.
That
was brilliant. So anyways,
you were trying to be a Christian.
So I didn't buy these because I was trying to distance myself from from secular things and just trying to be Christian only. And that changed actually on New Year's for 2001, going from 2000 to 2001. That changed. I ended up, no disrespect to her, but just on that day, we decided that we weren't going to date anymore. And for New Year's, she went off and did whatever she did, and God bless her. And I went off and hung out with the boys from Local Oddity. And that ended up being like the end of, very much after that, I finally like admitted I wasn't going to go to church anymore. Mm-hmm. And so ICP, oddly enough, wasn't like one of the things that popped up on my list of, oh, now that I'm not a Christian, I'm going to listen to this. Mm-hmm. Even though I loved Malenko and listened to it with you, we had some experience. I didn't listen to these right away. And then when I started, and for me, and I don't know how much I listened to them before, but for me, my main stories actually come out of being in 2001. Listening to these albums a bunch, and you and Bill and I living in San Francisco again, you for your second time and my first time, and we were roommates with these two young ladies going to San Francisco State, and I was like 1,000% ICP at that point, and these albums, I worked at a Nob Hill, I worked in the pharmacy. And I had to commute to Redwood Shores from San Francisco, and I listened, and I didn't have a CD player in my car, so I actually had a CD player that I put headphones on, and I listened to these two albums commuting back and forth to work every day.
Nice. And
just these songs burned in my brain. Not that I don't love Malenko, because it was my first, so I'll always have this like it was my favorite album and my fondest memories. But these Bizzar albums were the albums that if I was showing someone who was really outside of the windows of being able to appreciate something as bizarre and crazy as ICP, these were, ironically enough, the albums I would show them because I felt like they were the most radio friendly, even though they made fun of radio friendly throughout the whole part of this. The music was just brilliant. The lyrics didn't make me cringe. I mean, they do sometimes, but
these two albums are very accessible as far as ICP albums go.
Yeah. And so these two albums are so powerful to me, and how they'll influence me on other albums and twisted albums after we go past this, with me going to San Francisco State myself and all that story of my life, and how much I ended up loving those albums because of how much I love these two albums. Mm-hmm. And so I am so excited to talk about these songs.
And the other majorly interesting thing about the albums themselves as they exist, one, not just that they're double albums that are extremely strong, and I feel like have an incredibly consistent through line with the songs, but it's weird that they put out this much music that is this close to it has a structure, it has a theme more or less, but it's just wild that they put out this amount of this high quality music and it's not the Six Jokers card. They still they put out Jungle Brothers, and then they put out Psychedelics from Outer Space, and they put out Dumpin', and they put out these two incredible albums, and then they put out Dark Lotus, and then they put out the Six Jokers card. That's a wild period of what do you call? What's that called?
Productivity?
Prolific. They were very prolific during this period of time. Plus Big Money Hustlers.
Jesus Christ, man, yeah.
I forgot to tell you guys, when you open, I have the DVD of Big Money Hustlers, and when you open it up, there's a little insert that's also on DVD from Psychopathic Records, and it has the first two JCW things, then it's coming soon, JCW Volume 3, and then it has coming soon, Shockumentary Volume 2, and coming soon, The Shaggy Show, and I don't know whether those things actually came out.
Who can say?
Not me. But the other wild thing, as we'll get into, so Steve, you said that, Great Milenko's your favorite and will probably always be your favorite, but would you say that regardless of your favorite, that Bizzar are better than the Great Milenko?
I don't know that it's fair to compare them that way. I mean,
why?
Because I like the Great Milenko so much. And sometimes you step in dog shit and you scrape it off and you don't care because it's your favorite pair of shoes. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just technically, yes, it is a better album. They are better albums. And for repeat listening for me, they're better albums. Yeah. So that actually plays a huge role. And then for just my own place in life, it's not fair to compare it to Milenko because I was trying to be a good Christian when I was listening to Milenko. Sure. So sometimes I get the giddy who I was listening to this music that I wasn't supposed to, and I love this, versus just really being able to immerse myself in Juggalo lore at this point. Right. And then like I said, these would be certain songs off these albums would be what I would show someone if I was trying to show a quote unquote safe ICP song to someone to say this is a good intro. Yeah, there's crazy stuff and they get weird and they are weird here, but they're not as weird here as back there. So showing the talent, I think is what I was trying to point out is they're talented. And I think if there's anything they really put out in this is they can do the other shit, and they just proved it in these two albums. But they don't want to, and they're telling you that they don't want to as they're doing it, and it's brilliant.
Now, what's wild is that I think that, especially right off the bat, which we'll get to. Actually, I'll save that for a second. But Ryan, did you want to talk about Insane Clown Posse's feud with Sharon Osbourne real quick before we jump into these tracks, or do you want to save that?
I think let's set the groundwork for it, and then
Sure.
in a subsequent episode we can probably talk about it more. So in doing the normal research and stuff and looking into this, and actually in preparation a few episodes ago, we had talked about including Sharon Osbourne, because actually I don't know if we mentioned it on the podcast, but we were talking about Ozzy Osbourne and what we thought, whether ICP cared about them. And that whole conversation, we never mentioned Sharon Osbourne. Like, it didn't occur to any of us.
Yeah, that was on Amazing Jekyll Brothers when they talk about someone biting the head off a rat.
Yeah.
There you go. Good pull. And so I was surprised to learn that, and I remembered it in retrospect or whatever, retroactively, that prior to the release of Bizzar, and after Jekyll Brothers, ICP were on. I can't remember. Oh, they went on a tour with that Blue Monday group. That's not Aqua.
Cold Chamber.
Okay.
Yeah, you were thinking that it was Eiffel 65 this whole time?
No, the Blue Man Group. So they were on tour with the Blue Man Group, who was being represented by Sharon Osbourne, and I guess they had some conflicts on the road, and it was pretty hilarious. And they're both regular guests on the Howard Stern show. So ICP happened to be on Howard Stern. I'm gonna get this history totally fucked up, but I believe they were on the show, and then Sharon called in and started yelling at him or something like that. And then it escalated from there. Howard, it was recognized that it was great radio. All those personalities together in the same room, screaming at each other. Saying a lot of funny shit. And those are probably episodes worth listening to if you can stomach listening to some Howard Stern.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently on the show there was an episode where I believe they were both all three together on the Howard Stern show together, and Sharon Osbourne was talking shit up and down about ICP and how they suck and that they'll never sell any records and that they can't even hold her dick, basically. And so they made a wager. She bet Violent J $50,000 that their next record would not sell more than 200,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess included in that was that they would also be dropped from their record label. And so Violent J accepted the bid. And this was the next album that ended up coming out. And since it was 2 albums or whatever, combined they sold, according to the Wikipedia article, they combined to sell 400,000 units, which exceeded the bet. So Violent J won. But I don't know if she ever paid.
She didn't.
No.
She didn't ever pay. And Jay, when they made the bet, Jay said like, okay, well, like whoever wins the bet will give the money to charity. And they won the bet, and she never paid. And to this day, he will still bring up that she hasn't paid, and he's still waiting for her to name a charity of her choice to donate the money to.
In the article I read, and it wasn't off Wikipedia, but it had said that when she made the bet, he actually upped the ante and said that they would actually sell 500,000.
Yeah.
And they sold 400 with the combined albums. So
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she felt like she didn't have to pay, because they didn't make the 500,000. I don't know.
I'm sure at this point they've sold for 500,000.
Who knows?
Maybe. No one knows.
I hope so. There's no way it possible.
But before we jump into the tracks here, I do want to also note another fun thing from Wikipedia. In the new Rolling Stone album guide, which Rolling Stone has put out a couple of these gigantic coffee table books that are pretty fun if you like music at all. And we don't. So, but they're pretty fun books. They're just collections of album reviews of pretty much any pretty much most albums you can think of are in this gigantic book, and they have the star ratings, and then sometimes it's a long review, sometimes it's just a paragraph review, sometimes there's no review at all, but they at least have the star ratings for a billion albums. But both Bizzars got 3 stars in the new Rolling Stone album guide out of 5, and those are the highest Rolling Stone ratings that any ICP album has ever gotten.
There actually is an annotation on the Wikipedia page for the this album, the Bizzar album, that links to the Rolling Stone review, which I recommend reading if you like to exercise rolling your eyes.
Nice.
And then there's 3 reviews under the references section.
I gotta say this, Ryan. Still better than Pitchfork.
It's just I can't believe this is Rolling Stone. Like when I'm reading it, like this is Rolling Stone. It's terrible. I mean, he's correct. The review is not wrong, but it's just very poorly written.
Right. And you said
I slapped Michael Jackson's face off.
You said there were other reviews, Ryan?
There are, yeah. There's an NME magazine or whatever. They got 3 out of 10 stars.
Woo!
There, and that one actually, I only got past the first paragraph. Didn't even get past the first paragraph because it was impenetrable, the writing, if you ask me.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and dive right in, guys. We're going to talk about the intro to Bizzar first. So if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and take a listen right now. Good luck, because it's not on Spotify.
Or YouTube.
But if you do have access to this intro, which I know Steve and I had, Ryan, did you manage to find a way to listen to the intro?
Boy, I have this CD.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, not the actual CD. I have it ripped, but it's ripped from the actual CD that I used to own one day.
Funny story. At some point when I got all my ICP albums out in preparation of us doing this podcast, my Bizzar and my Bizzar have disappeared entirely. Wow. So I had to go into my Amazon Cloud Drive and get these albums out of them. But the intro, guys, I steadfastly believe not only is this the best intro that we've listened to on the album on the podcast to date, I feel it is probably the best intro they've ever done.
Fully not knowing 60% of their work.
I love this intro. I think it's amazingly well written. I think it sounds like a super blockbuster movie. Like the sound design is amazing. The sound that plays under it is actually super duper cool. Like it's just a great score. And it's a great setup to this double album. There's a dark cloud that started over Detroit and is spreading across the entire country, maybe the world. And the only spots of brightness are shining on houses of worship of all denominations. The military is gathered in preparation of horrible things happening. The world is waiting to see what's going to happen. Guys, what do you think of this intro?
That's pretty badass, man.
It is amazing. I was wondering if it wasn't on Spotify and YouTube because it was a John Carpenter movie.
It's got
music. Because I'm pretty.
The music's so good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like just straight up like Escape from L.A. or.
It's the main title. It's the main title track for Escape from New York.
Nice.
Oh, Escape from New York. That's what I meant. Yeah. And so. Yeah, that was why I was like, so that's what tripped me out a little bit. I was like, so it's not on Spotify or YouTube. And like, even though the whole albums are on there and it shows the intro, but it's just blank, and it just skips automatically to the first track, or second track, I guess. And I was like wondering why. And I looked it up before I even listened to it. And I saw that it said that it was John Carpenter theme music. And I'm like, but because this was is it still on Island?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Came out on Island.
So they had to have paid royalties to John Carpenter.
They had to have licensed it, but they didn't necessarily license it for digital. Like they didn't necessarily license it to be cleared on future media. So they once they got released by Island, I'm sure Island had no interest in re-clearing these rights to air on the internet.
I see.
In a streaming form.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's
copyright
great.
Clearances are weird.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, the intro, it's like you said, it's just so fantastic. And it solidifies the rant I had back when we were talking about the last episode that we did for Amazing Jekyll Brothers, Echo Side. And I went on my rant about saying they're not a Christian band. And kind of to me, because when they said that the sunlight is beaming through and it's landing on all denominations, and it also says like all like not just denominations but just like all places of worship regardless of religion.
Yeah.
And that is something certainly a Christian, or not a fundamentalist Christian anyway, would
Right.
say. And
Yeah.
so,
I mean, this is pretty clearly like ICP saying like we're not Christ. Like this is pretty clearly one ICP saying like we believe in a higher power, and two, we don't necessarily believe in a Christian higher power.
yeah.
And that's pretty much always been like from day one. Like their message has basically been like, don't be a shithead. Like
Yeah.
live a righteous life, basically.
Yeah.
Or we'll come chop out your throat.
It's fair.
I want to see some red lightning.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds badass.
Sounds rad as hell.
I did once.
Mm.
I can't talk about it here.
Guys,
But I had to.
This car is hydromatic. Why, it's red lightning! Guys, I've heard the chicks will cream.
Oh.
Hey, John Travolta's words, not mine.
No, no judgment on you, homie.
Blame Bobby Conway. All right, go ahead.
I just want you guys to know that if you go to John Carpenter's IMDb page and look at the photograph of him on his IMDb page and tell me that he has not become David Lopan.
Oh, I don't know. Follow him on his Twitter account. He looks like David Lopan there too. He's like, I don't know, like he's like scream. Like, it looks like he's like screaming. He's got his hands up in the air, like these death metal singers going, like ah.
I wonder if he's like from the future and came back in time to make that movie about himself.
He probably is from the future.
Is he an eternal David Lopan?
Mm-hmm.
I think this conversation is racist.
I actually listened to a really cool. So I listened to a podcast called Whiting Wongs, which is it's
You asshole.
no, I swear to Christ, I listened to a podcast called Whiting Wongs, which is actually the name of the podcast, and it's Dan Harmon, the creator of Rick and Morty and Community. And his one of his writers, Jessica Gao, who wrote the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty, and basically it's like him like learning how to be a good ally, and like her like teaching him like what's shitty for white people to do, and like basically like talking about like imbalance in writers' rooms and all sorts of stuff, but mostly it's about like race and gender. But they did a very long conversation about how Big Trouble in Little China is actually like a super woke film, because the white guy in the movie isn't the protagonist. Like, he's just like this bumbling like shithead that like is helping his his totally like able like person of color friend who like is the hero of the film.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and like the Asian people in the film like are actual Asians and like not played for like laughs or anything. Like they just exist, and the white guy just happens to be like coming through town, and it's not his intent to be a white hero. He's actually very reluctant to get involved at all. But like how like Big Trouble in China for a lot of people who are Asian is like a really like cool and important movie, because it's like, oh hey, look, it's just Asian people who are allowed to be heroes, and a white guy just happens to be in it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I love that movie, so
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
They're going to ruin it with having The Rock be in it.
Well, I mean, I like The Rock.
Sure.
It's a big rock in Little China.
And he ain't white. All right. Let's move on to Take Me Away. And if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and take a listen right now. So this starts right off. The cloud is spreading, and as an end to the newscast, Violent J says, "Welcome to the Dark Carnival," implying that the cloud is indeed either the Dark Carnival or foretelling the Dark Carnival's arrival. But either way, the world's in for some shit because the wicked clowns are here. But I love this song, and I love that it starts off Bizzar, the first like ICP work that follows Big Money Hustlers, because as I said at the end of Big Money Hustlers, Violent J standing up in the coffin at the very end of Big Money Hustlers and yelling "The Wicked Clowns will never die" is, I think that they've said like "Wicked Clowns never die" at some point in their catalog before this. I'm pretty sure that I did a famous first on it whenever it popped up the first time, but him doing that was really the first time that it became like integral as like a catchphrase or as like a theme within Insane Clown Posse, that Wicked Clowns never die, Wicked Clowns live forever. And this start of Bizzar Bizzar really carries that theme. Like, this is all about Violent J, Shaggy 2 the Insane Clown Posse will live forever. And it's a recurring theme later when we get to Tilt-A-Whirl. We'll talk about Wicked Clowns never dying. But I love this song. It's at the beginning when it starts, it's over 4 minutes long, but when this song starts, it sort of feels like it's gonna like continue a Joker's card, setup where it's like there's an intro and then there's an instrumental song, because it's maybe a minute of instrumental. But the music's so good and the song's so good, and this is like probably the most metatextual that Insane Clown Posse has been so far as we've been listening to them, because basically it's them talking about like their journey and like, you know, other rappers may do this, but we Insane Clown Posse, the rappers, like, we bring you like myths and we bring you stories, and we're the only ones who will talk about the fucked up, hilarious shit we talk about. And this is it. Like, this is us. And I think
only we would sing about fucking a beehive.
Right. And then later they do. But it's great. It's great that they like talk about like Shaggy 2 says, "Run with everybody or walk with our crew and stand on the moon, face the world and say fuck you." Like, this song's amazing, guys.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's really excited about the way that you described it there. Yeah, I don't have anything to add, man. That's fucking perfect. Listening to it again and again, I'm like, I'm continually struck not just by how good the music and production is and how on point they are rapping, but just like, it's not just an Insane Clown Posse song, but it's the first Insane Clown Posse song that really steps away and is like, this is a song about Insane Clown Posse, the band.
Yeah. Yes. Right. And you know, what made a huge impact for me was, this was, like I was saying earlier, the first album where I was listening to it as a juggalo, not as someone hiding secretly as a trying to be a goody two-shoe and giggling at, its awfulness and like embracing it. And this song makes you, and multiple songs off these albums make you like, I'm a part of something. I dropped something huge in my life, like super huge. And I'm not saying ICP filled that gap, because it didn't, but it was the perfect stepping stone, because I instantly, being someone that like swings from extremes because of how I was raised, like, this was crazy and accepting and had like its story, and I already understood it when I heard this, because I'd already listened to 2 albums, even though I hadn't fully been able to embrace it. And so to be able to embrace it with these type of songs made it so impactful for me. And maybe that's the story of every fan of ICP, but these were the albums that did it for me, and songs just like this, it just was so awesome.
And I think that I really have to make sure to point out, like, and give credit to ICP about how unbelievably clever it is that they've created this mythology of the Dark Carnival, and then they make this song called Take Me Away, which is ostensibly about the Dark Carnival, but it's legitimately, Take Me Away can refer to the Dark Carnival as a literal entity, but actually refers to what Insane Clown Posse, the band, does, which is make you forget about your troubles for a little while. So the Dark Carnival is literally taking you away from the worries that you have. Like, yeah. He says, you want to keep it real, walk out your door. That's as real as it gets from the sky to the floor. But the Dark Carnival will take your soul away and give you mythical adventure in a magical way. Like, So you could look at it literally. The Dark Carnival will take your soul away. Like, either way, if you've been a sinner or if you've been a good person, it's going to take your soul away. You're going to join the carnival or you're going to be destroyed by the carnival. But he's saying that, like, what we've created is a balm for you. Like, we know that you've listened to us to just forget about bullshit for a while. And that's what, like, Please Take Me Away is about.
Yeah. Yep.
It's amazing. And
like it's a Dungeons and Dragons song.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to I want to take the time to say, like, I have said it a few times now, the music and the production is absolutely unbelievably good on both of these double albums, and it is mind-blowing to me that they got this good with Mikey Clark, and then 4 tracks into Dark Lotus, which is the album after this that ICP does, they part ways with Mike Clark for several years and have to start over again with a new producer for the 6th Joker's card. Like, they got to the 8th, like, you can't get better than this in terms of, like, making music that is suited to the Insane Clown Posse. And then Mikey Clark and them are like, nah, fuck it. We'll do something else for the culmination of our music journey.
Okay, so that's a great segue, because what I was thinking is that I was 21 when this record came out. I was an adult. And I remember in this first verse, he says, only time will tell if our stories are true. And I remember hearing that and thinking, what are they going to do for the 6th Joker's card? Like, I've been listening to this band for like 5 years at this point, and gone from being like a child in school, you know, I was in high school or whatever, and now I'm an adult in college, and I still believe that there's something that they have planned. Like, there still could be something. What's going to happen when the 6th Joker's card drops? Even when I met you and I was saying, like, I didn't really listen to the band anymore, which was true, I still would think about, I still would listen to ICP, and I would still think about what the 6th Joker's card is going to be. So I was still wrapped in, like, it still had its hooks in me that, like, there's something about it that I believed, or that I wanted to believe, or that I wanted to find out, that I was curious about. And I just think that that's something special that this band was able to make me feel, you know, and something that something that makes this band special to me, even though it's silly, I guess.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Just like this song is great.
Also, like when Shaggy says House of Mirrors.
Yeah.
There's so many great lines in this. I mean, the chorus is great. I love the chorus. Shaggy raps. I really like his verses.
Mm-hmm.
He's
on it. He's on it.
He is. It's just such a great. This is a great song. I really like. It's not even my favorite song, and I really like this song.
But it's an unbelievable, like, first track to this double album.
And this is one that they use in promotion and stuff, I feel like.
Can I ask you guys one question I did have in my notes? I mean, I love where they're saying fuck newspapers, fuck magazines, fuck A&Rs, and their ball-hugging jeans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What are A&Rs?
They're artist representatives for music labels. They're like the people who, like, court bands to, like, sign to a label, and then once they sign to a label, they're, like, basically like the intermediary between the artist and the label.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. I could have Googled that, but
that's more fun. Maybe other people were having the same quandary.
Right on.
You guys ready to move on to the next track? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no. I just fuck your Grammys and music awards, and I'll strangle your host with my microphone, or with his microphone cord.
Mm-hmm.
That's just great work right there. I love that shit. I just wanted to point that out. These are just things in my notes. Sorry.
I also like the thuggish thing that they thought of was pissing in a hot tub.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And it's funny because I didn't write this in my notes, but I thought of it last time I was listening to this. I had just watched Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams.
Mm.
And there's a scene where Cheech is hysterically stuck on an elevator naked, and it's going up and down, and he's like flashing all these people. But then a biker, because Cheech and Chong were hooking up with this lady, but her biker boyfriend broke out of prison, so he's on their way, and he hates Mexicans, and so she's like, I got this Mexican here. So it's this great scene, and the biker goes, and he pisses in a hot tub with these like two couples that are like these hoity-toity yuppie like couples sitting in a hot tub, and he walks up and he pisses in it, but it's all in slow, like not slow motion, but he's looking at him. They're like, "Can we help you?" And they're being all like typical white people in movies where we look dumb because we are. They're like, "Oh, can I help you?" And then and like the guy just like slowly pulls his dick out, and they're like, "No, oh God, no, and then they make a really good impression that he's actually peeing in the hot tub, and it's great, and they scream and get out. But and so I just watched that last week, and then we did this assignment and that song, and I was like, I'd like to think ICD drew that imagery from that movie.
I would say it's probably likely.
Okay.
The only thing that made that scene better in my mind was imagining Dave Chappelle's white person voice with the white people. Take it easy. You're on Main Street. Pardon me, officer. We're a little high. He has the best white guy voice in history.
He's so great. Okay, all right.
So let's move on to, guys, are you scared?
What's the matter? What's the matter?
We're going to listen to Fearless, and we're going to talk about it. And if you haven't listened to it, go ahead and take a listen right now. Are you scared? Guys, this is a good song. All I gotta say is, if you're looking at the lyrics on Genius, please do not click on the annotation about the M80 because it shows an exploded hand.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Don't click on it. Don't click on it.
I am so glad you said that because now I won't.
Do not click on it.
Wow.
I clicked on it.
Oh, Steve.
I did not. I totally am just joking. I hate shit like that.
Yeah. So yeah, this is not.
I gotta be honest, Bill. I'm not even seeing fingers.
Yeah.
Because Ryan looked at it.
Yeah.
I'll see you with my nub.
Yeah. Here's a good song, guys, and it's good. The music is good. The premise is very strong. The sound effects are incredible.
Yes. That wins the song for me.
Yeah, like I like, as good as the sound effect of Shaggy 2 Dope headbutting a unicorn is, I feel the best sound effect is bungee jumping off a crane with only a spaghetti noodle tied on, because there's the whistling sound of him falling, but in the middle of the whistling sound of him falling, there's a little bing.
Yes. I like when he says he's going to go through South Central LA wearing sporting Wranglers and a cowboy hat.
What's
Which, like, if you probably walk through,
it's so serious though.
Right? But like, in 2018, if you walk through South Central LA, you can probably see a lot of people in tight pants. I don't know.
I also,
it's a different time.
I do also appreciate that, like, the most problematic thing that he says in the song, he then doubles down on later. So he says, "I'll pick up a hooker with a deep voice," and then he says, "No, I wouldn't."
That's the only thing.
That's
the only thing they say.
But then just a few lines later, he says, "I'll meet Jeffrey Dahmer at some kind of bar and let him take me home and eat me," because Jeffrey Dahmer very notably only preyed on gay men.
Yeah. No. So yes, you're absolutely right. No. I did not mean meaning no, you were wrong. I mean, but think of it in terms of, this is like the epitome of transphobia, where a transgender person is like the one thing in the whole song where like sitting on a flag post. I mean, holy shit, you know what I mean? And the one thing is like, no, not a transgender person.
Fair. That's fair.
And then, so even letting a gay serial killer eat him is even better than hooking up with a hot chick.
That's fair.
All right.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, fair.
That was my only like negative, because that stood out to me.
I also want to know, in the year 2018, how problematic is the Ethiopia line? Because they had a food shortage. It's not racist.
Well,
it's insensitive.
Okay, but why is he saying Ethiopia? Do you think? Is there a reason why that springs to mind?
Because it's synonymous with a place where there was famine and food
shortage.
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
But is that current? Like, does a generation after us do they think about Ethiopia in that way?
I have no idea.
Yeah, they might.
I don't know.
I couldn't see why they may not.
There's know
still commercials all over TV of people of color, children of color from all over the world with flies crawling all over them. So I don't know why.
I just know that in the year 2000, that was the one country name you could drop where people would immediately think of starving people.
Yeah.
Right, and that's my memory of being a child, is that was the place, like they're starving people in Ethiopia.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah, maybe kids nowadays listening to a song from 20 years ago wouldn't recognize it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's unfortunate because when he shouts free ice cream sandwiches, that's one of my favorite lines in the whole song.
It's still the most incredible line delivery of all time. Free ice cream sandwiches!
It's absurd. It's too absurd. I mean, I don't want to even finish that sentence. Never mind. I apologize. But it is absurd, and I can see why they wouldn't have a problem with it. But I feel like I'm almost getting too insensitive, so I want to dial it back. I want to dial it back.
Nitpicky in terms of criticizing this band.
But I still feel bad. Yeah.
But there's a lot of them being naked in this song. There's a lot of stuff happening to their butts.
Things in their butts. Yeah.
I'll sucker punch a gorilla and then try to run with a banana hanging out my ass.
I love, Shaggy's delivery of that line is also great.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, I love la-de-da-de.
Okay, when he says that he'll sign MC Hammer to his record label.
That's the stoop.
Okay, so
I love just how he's like, I ain't afraid of ghosts. You afraid of ghosts? I'll summon the ghost with this Ouija board. Like the way he says that. I mean, I can't even give it justice. It's the delivery is so great. It's like peak J, you know?
Yeah. Everything, like, even the throwaway lines in this song are brilliant. Like, I'll finger fuck a toilet and kiss a light socket.
Yeah, I had that in my notes. I wanted to bring that up. I just picturing someone. It's just, I love the image of it. It's so absurd.
And possibly the best part. I mean, not the best part, but possibly the best part is the last line of the song is them fucking a beehive, which they threatened to rap about the previous track.
Yes. Yeah, they didn't even wait a song. They
thought we might forget about it.
A big ass beehive on a tree and drop my drawers and hump it.
Ryan,
which was rhymed with
yes. Ryan, I want to know how you feel about the Booyah Tribe mention.
I don't know about the Booyah Tribe.
Oh, you don't know about them?
No, I was gonna look them up so I could seem smart, but I thought it'd be better just to admit that I don't know that shit.
Famously, like the thing that I know about them is that like they're the most notable like Samoan rap act ever.
Okay. Cool. Are they like super mean or what? They're like
they're like gangsters.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Tribe is Booyah Tribe. Tribe is an acronym which stands for Too Rough International Booyah Empire. So they're the Booyah Too Rough International Booyah
Empire. Nice.
It's their name twice.
It's like Mutombo's name.
According to hip-hop documentarians, Booyah Tribe is synonymous with hip-hop in Los Angeles. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much about Booyah Tribe. Sorry if that ruffles anyone's feathers.
The Booyah in their name signifies the sound of a shotgun being discharged.
Oh, yeah? I'm not sure that's true.
Yeah, you know.
Booyah!
Like you cock and it goes, and then it goes, Booyah!
Booyah!
Yeah, all my video games make that sound when I shoot a shotgun.
Booyah!
Booyah!
Can somebody patch that into Destiny or something? There's a couple of exotic shotguns that could go booyah.
like the bloop gun in Terminator 2. Or
the bop gun in Bop Gun.
Yeah, or the dubstep gun in Saints Row 4. All right.
I played
your
that.
thoughts about this song?
I feel like the one piece of criticism that I have is that some of these are just bad ideas, not as much as scary. But I guess
you shouldn't
everything
do them, and I think it's fear that keeps people from doing a lot of things.
Like signing MC Hammer to a record label.
Yeah, like I'm close.
Would you?
I'll run around the White House lawn naked and screaming and busting shots at him, which is a great visual.
I feel like he over enunciates that too, like busting shots at him.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, we told you that we were going to talk about the first 5 tracks off of this album this week, but it looks like we're running a little bit long, so let's just talk about one more, and then we'll regroup. So let's talk about rainbows and stuff. And if you haven't listened to this yet, go ahead and take a listen right now. This one's a real tale of two songs for me.
Oh my God, Bill, you're hitting a home run on every track. You got this album down.
Okay, here's my first problem. Here's my first problem with this song. If it weren't for the spoken parts in this song, there would be absolutely no inclination or reason that this song has to be about a woman.
Yep, agree.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of like they dropped that in after the fact. Like they wanted it to be about a woman all of a sudden. So they added in a bunch of cringy stuff that I hate. But like this really doesn't have to be about a woman. It doesn't have to be an anti-love song. It can just be like, I like a lot of things in life, but I hate you. And the happy part, the rainbows part of the track is amazing, is very fun. The music is fun. And then the and stuff part of the song is like the worst like year 2000 like rap rock stuff ever. And it's almost, and given how well they do rap rock later, like a couple tracks after this, it kind of makes me feel like they're intentionally making it over the top bad.
The next track after this.
Fair enough. But
I'm inclined to agree with you, man.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point.
It feels like they're going way too like, obviously they're making it very treacly and twee and like specifically like like basically I picture Violent J skipping through a Candyland like Homer skips through chocolate in the verses, and then they go way over the top with like just super angry butt rock in the chorus, and it's just unpleasant to listen to.
I think it's a miss for them. Whatever. I see what I feel. I think you're right. I think that's what they're going for. Obviously, to just do this like cutesy and then super hard, and that they would kind of play off each other and make them both more like amplify each other. Hopefully, and I don't know. Maybe if I was a teenage angsty boy, then I might like that. But when I was a little bit older, I was just it kind of fell flat. And listening to it now, I'm like, whoa. Yeah. I like the verses, great. But the chorus is just like, blech.
The best part of this song to me is so Violent J sings the verses of the song, but you don't notice that he's singing until Shaggy Two Dope is asked to sing one line of the song.
That's my favorite line of the whole song.
The best take, the one that they put on the album, he cannot sing this one line.
Can't even get any notes right. He got one out of all of them.
Thank you, Jay. I like you too.
Oh, that's okay. We're family.
It's so great.
That's a song.
God, I love that.
I also like that. I like his mom because she's nice to me.
Yeah.
Because she's nice to me.
I also think this is the first time that he like explicitly says that him and Shaggy Two Dope are family, like in a non-Juggalo sense.
Yeah,
I thought of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that there's something where he says something,
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it stands out for sure.
Mm-hmm. But man, Shaggy, just unable to sing. He can scream like the Dickens, but he can't carry a tune in a bucket.
Some of my favorite lines are when he says that he likes bumper cars at carnivals, the way that he lets that line go.
Yeah.
Carnivals.
Like, so this somewhat notable, or at least I thought it was interesting and fun. The first three songs on this album all mention bees.
Wow, good pull, man.
Yeah.
He also mentions NyQuil pills.
Yes, I was about to say that. Yep.
And I think he only, to my recollection, or at least until I stopped listening, he didn't mention them too many other times. I feel like it was a rich, flashy in a pan or whatever part of his life.
From what I remember from his book, he started hitting NyQuil super hard, like after Malenko, like around the time he had his first anxiety attack, and then like stopped when he started like encountering marijuana.
Yeah, it was just this era. It was like the Psychopathics from Outer Space tour, or Wicked Clowns from Outer Space tour, and the stuff in support of Jekyll Brothers. That's what I always thought. It was that's when it was like he was having all of his. Well, at least that's when it was being reported or whatever. When the magazine articles and MTV News and stuff would talk about him punching a fan or wilding out on the street. I don't remember the specific stories, but I just remember being around this time.
So I don't want to get too deep into what I do for a living, but I had introduced ICP to a person that I work with, and it was a really positive, fun thing that we loved and laughed about a lot. And then I started recognizing that he started talking about taking NyQuil a lot, and he was listening to Jekyll Brothers and these albums here, and it actually became a problem, and we had to I had to like help him work through stop doing NyQuil pills because I can't explain why, but for him that was something he could do, and he heard it from ICP. And this is not a slam on ICP at all. This is not like they shouldn't be singing about taking NyQuil pills. Nothing like that. I mean, no type of attack or assault or anything. It was just like a weird situation that he had found on accident, and we just dealt with it, and it stopped. But it was just because I never considered someone doing something like that, like taking NyQuil pills to knock you out and get high, or what, and not high so much, but just, to deaden you. And just like, I every time I've ever taken NyQuil, I was sick, and I take it, and like a half hour later, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to bed, and so that was just an interesting thing that I experienced from this. And again, I don't want to put this out like as, ICP made someone I know do something. You know what I mean? It was just more of a suggestion that was probably way out there from tons of people, and he just picked it up from that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like as a person who never did any drugs growing up, I used to always look forward to, I think when I moved in with Bill, the first time that I got the flu, I was like giddy, to go to the store and get some Tylenol cold and flu and some NyQuil and some Theraflu. Actually, I think Bill introduced me to Theraflu. And I used to make a cocktail of that shit. And I would take all three of them and I would fly off into space, man. It would get me super fucked up. And I loved it. But I thought it was okay because I was sick. You know, I could take all this medicine and feel super high.
Wow, yeah. It's super interesting. Yeah.
NyQuil's great, guys.
It's magic.
Also, Tylenol PM.
I've taken Tylenol PM. I've taken both of those, and in the direction recommended way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And holy shit, like, I mean, I've done some drugs in my life. This shit, it's a good night. And I don't know anything better than a good night. So
it's true.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay, man. Do them as directed.
Not even once.
Do them as directed. Well, if that's the case, then no.
Mm. All right, guys. Final thoughts on rainbows and stuff. This is the first thumbs down for the album.
Well, you know what? Can I just say one thing that
Yes.
really bothers me about this is, like, obviously we're all in agreement that the screaming parts of Shaggy where it makes it apparent that it's about a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Those are awesome, though. The way he says the shit,
Yeah.
that's what bothers me. Fucking bitch, nipple shot. You know, like you're just not the fucking dirty, and I'm not going to say what he says, but it's just like the way he does it, and it's just like, and I'm like, yes! Come on, man. I mean, the one that lets me get away, and that's what I really put in my notes, just so I can say, you know, like, I want to say, is the least offensive is the whole, like, oh, fucking pinch your nipple shut, which is actually super is offensive, but if you, like, hear other songs, especially when they talk about doing it to nuns, or maybe that comes up further, I don't know, but they do it to nuns, so if you do it to a nun, then, you know, that becomes horror movie and not just domestic use. Yeah. I don't know. I can't defend it. He just does it so well. That's what bothers me about that part. That, to me, that's like I love the flowery, funny stuff that Violent J says in the verses, but my favorite parts of the song are the most offensive parts of the song. Mm. And that bothers me because Shaggy does it so well.
Yeah, Shaggy really commits.
God damn it.
I feel like this song is like a C-.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you know,
yeah.
It's like, it's just a little bit under the curve for them. I think it's not bad. And like we said, if the chorus was different or done better, then I think all of us would like it differently.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
it better. You know, not all these songs are made for us either. So like,
yeah,
sure.
No, yeah, yes.
Well, it's just like, I feel, I mean, we're gonna get to it later, but like, I think that Take Me Away to Fearless and then What to Still Stab into Tilt-A-Whirl to We Gives No Fuck is like, if Rainbows and Stuff wasn't in the middle of those like 6 tracks, it would be like the most unstoppable stretch of like 6 tracks on an ICP album ever.
Yeah.
They would. That's a pretty good run of tracks, man.
Yeah.
I know, right? But Rainbows and Stuff is right there.
We got some really awesome tracks to talk about.
It gets better. This has been great.
Yeah.
God damn, this is a great
All right,
album.
so we're out of time for this week. We don't want to dominate your time unless we're talking about a movie. But what we will do is next week we will talk about tracks 5 through 9. So we're going to talk about What, Still Stabbing, Tilt-A-Whirl, We Gives No Fuck, and Please Don't Hate Me. And we reserve the right to go long again and cut it off again. But that's the plan for the time being.
We're gonna try to get in 3, though.
Yeah, we'll at least do 3. I mean, we technically did 4 this week.
Well. Yeah. No, I mean 3 episodes for the album.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We have we have to do at least 3. But yeah, we're having a great time with Bizzar so far, and we hope you guys are too. So
wait,
what?
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt because we're not done with this track.
Oh yeah, there's a hidden track.
Yeah, there's a skit at the end.
Skit.
Okay, well, but before we get to that, so this song is a remake basically, or whatever, of a song called Sky by a band called Paper Tiger.
Nice.
Which actually it's not a remake, but it completely follows the same structure and vocals and chorus and cutesy verse. Like it's exactly the same.
It's an interpolation.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. And then we have a phone messages skit that closes this track out.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, I thought Steve was gonna do it.
Yeah.
What?
Or was that you, Bill?
No, that was not me. I was doing the beatbox part. Steve was rustling the.
Oh, I was scratching my ear.
Yeah.
Is Moon Glorious on the line? Do you guys know anything about Moon Glorious?
No.
Oh shit! Well, that sucks. So that makes 3 of us.
About the studio?
Moon Glorious.
Oh, that.
Moon Glorious. Moon Glorious is a character from. This is as much as I fucking know.
Uh-huh.
He's a character who was a recurring character on the Shaggy Show.
Huh.
And he, it's Violent J, it's Joe Bruce, and he's wearing a wig, and he's got his face painted slightly different, like a moon and a star, and then a what would you call a blank face?
Frowny face, or like a straight mouth?
Yeah, it's like a straight mouth. He's not frowning or smiling.
Yeah, he's almost got like a Paul Stanley star over one eye, with a moon. But yeah. He's a
That's
guy.
as much as I fucking know. He looks like he comes out like he's like a gonna do a wrestling promo. You know, that's what he looks like to me, is like a wrestling character or something. But I watched one video, which is an interview when they were on tour. Shaggy is doing a new recreation of the Shaggy Show from the tour bus, and Moon Glorious comes out, and Shaggy is just completely delighted. Shaggy likes Moon Glorious. I don't know if he makes Jay do it, because Jay doesn't say shit while he's sitting there. He just smiles and says Moon Glorious, or frowns. And so I don't get it, man, but Jeremy or any of the other heads who like comment in the Instagram and stuff, if you guys want to point me in the right direction or show me what to look at so that I can know more about Moon Glorious, that would be great.
Nice. And Shaggy has racked up some studio fees.
Oh, right. Yeah. In the previous message, it says they got a studio in Colorado that they have an outstanding balance of like $43,000.
Call him back.
Rent studios and don't pay. Come on,
Mike.
Play. I am what I am.
All right. So shall we call it here for the week?
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
We have to. All right. Well, thanks to everybody for listening. As always, you can check us out on Twitter and on Instagram at Dim Carnival. Email us at dimcarnival@gmail.com. And until next week, I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
Fuck.